Hello students, welcome to our class. Now today we are going to see the problem sums. Solve the given problems. Now let's move on to the first question. Two bodies have a mass ratio of 3:4. The force applied on the bigger mass produces an acceleration of 12 ms to the power minus 2. What could be the acceleration of the other body if the same force acts on it? So if you are getting the problem sums, the workout problems or the word problems like this, first you must read the question, what is given in that, and what you have to find out from that. All these things you must understand. Okay, now let's look into the question and we'll write the given data. Two bodies have a mass ratio of 3:4. So given data, what is given first? Two bodies have a mass ratio of 3:4. So mass, which is M1, mass M2. So first one is first mass, first body mass, and the next one is second body mass. Now first body, it has a mass of 3 kg and the second body has a mass of 4 kg. The force applied on the bigger mass produces an acceleration of 12 ms to the power minus 2. Now the force is applied on some bigger mass. Here which one is bigger mass, 3 or 4? Obviously 4. It produces an acceleration of 12 ms to the power minus 2. Now we are going to write the acceleration. So acceleration, A1 you must write or A2? Yes, A2. So A2 is equal to 12 ms to the power minus 2. What could be the acceleration of the other body? So we wrote the acceleration for the second body. Now next one we have to find out the acceleration for the first body, which is A1. Have to find out. What is the next thing that we have to find out? If the same force acts on it. So with this the question gets over. But by this given data can we able to find out? No, it is not possible. And here also they are talking about force, right? You all notice that. Okay, so we have the force F1, force F2. Since we have two objects here, that's why the force F1 and F2. Have they given value for force anywhere over here in the question? No, not at all. So that's why now I'm going to put question mark. Now we are going to find out, based upon this given data, what formula we can use to work out this problem. Yes, correct, which is Newton's second law. F is equal to ma, which is force is equal to mass into acceleration. Now if we have one object or one body, if we are talking about one body, in the sense we can have F is equal to ma. But here we are talking about two bodies. So F1 is equal to M1 A1. F2 is equal to M2 A2. If you look at the first set of formula, the first formula, F1, do we have the value for F1? No. What about M1? We have. A1, we don't have. So we cannot use this formula. Second formula you take. F2 we have? No. M2, yes, we have the value. And what about A2? We have value. So we can use the second formula. F2 is equal to M2 A2. So what is my M2 value? 4. And A2 is 12. So what is 4 12s are 48. F2 is equal to 48 N. N is nothing but the unit for force. Now we are going to find out the acceleration. Actually acceleration they have given. No, we have to find out for A1 only. No. So we are supposed to use this formula. Okay. Now F1 is equal to M1 A1. Do we know the value for F1? No. But in this question they have given what could be the acceleration of the other body if the same force acts on it. Same force in the sense, just now we find the value for F2, right? So the same force only we are going to substitute here. 48 is equal to M1, which is 3. A1 we don't know, so just like that I am going to put A1. Now let's take this A1 to one side. So when you take this 3 to the other side, it will come in denominator. Okay, so 48 divided by 3. So when you divide this, what answer you will get? 48 divided by 3. 3 ones are 3, remaining 1, 8. 3 6 are 18. So what is my answer? 16. A1 is equal to 16 and the unit for acceleration is ms to the power minus 2. Okay, so you all understood this problem, some children? Now we'll move on to the second question. A ball of mass 1 kg moving with the speed of 10 ms to the power minus 1 rebounds after a perfect elastic collision with the floor. Calculate the change in linear momentum of the ball. So here, what are the things they have given? We must write the given data, no? So, given data. So, what they have given? A ball of mass 1 kg. So, mass M is equal to 1 kg. Why I didn't put M1? Here only one object they are talking about. So, that's why I have written only M. Moving with the speed of 10 ms to the power minus 1. So, it has a speed. Rebounds after a collision or the perfect collision with the floor. When you make a ball to fall on the floor or when you drop the ball, what will happen? It will go and hit the floor and again it rebounds, right? So that's what they are saying here. With the speed of 10 ms to the power minus 1 rebounds after a perfect elastic collision with the floor. Now, how much speed when you make the ball to drop on the floor? The same speed it will come again. So, initial velocity is equal to the final velocity. You all know Newton's third law, right? For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, so that's why we are going to write. So, initial velocity. So, what is the initial velocity? And you all know what letter we used to represent for initial velocity, which is u. So, what is the initial velocity? Which is 10 ms to the power minus 1 and rebounds after a perfect elastic collision, that is final velocity. So, final velocity v is equal to 10 ms to the power minus 1. I told you it rebounds with the same speed. So, that's why I have written 10 ms to the power minus 1. And when it rebounds in the sense, I told you Newton's third law, equal and opposite reaction. Equal and opposite reaction. Equal I have written. So, how can we represent opposite? So, in this time we can put minus. So, that's what the final velocity v is equal to minus 10 ms to the power minus 1. Now, what we have to find out? Calculate the change in linear momentum of the ball. So, linear momentum formula, what is that? P is equal to m into v. Change in momentum is, how we are supposed to write is, change in momentum is equal to m into v minus u. See, actually there won't be any change in the mass. Even obviously in velocity also there won't be any changes in this case, but in some other cases there will be some changes in the velocity. Okay, so that's why we are representing initial and final. Now what is my mass? Which is 1 kg. So 1 I am writing here. And what is b? Minus 10. So minus 10. Already in formula we have minus. So what is the value for u? 10. So 1 into minus 10 and minus 10. You all know in mathematics we used to do minus 10 and minus 10 will become minus 20. So 1 into minus 20 is minus 20. Now the change in momentum. Change in momentum is equal to minus 20, and I told you what is the unit for change in momentum. It is kg ms to the power minus 1. So this is the answer for the second question. Okay, I hope you all understood this sum. Okay, children. Now let's move on to the third question. A mechanic unscrew a nut by applying a force of 140 N with a spanner of length 40 centimeter. What should be the length of the spanner if a force of 40 N is applied to unscrew the same nut? Now there is a mechanic, he wants to unscrew a nut. Okay, there he is giving a force of 140 N and the spanner of the length is 40 centimeter. So here they are talking about the first one. So we'll write the given data. Given data. So F1 is equal to 140 N. And what is the second one? It is length. Here length, distance more or less similar. So we'll assume it as D1, which is nothing but 40 centimeter. Now what should be the length of the spanner if a force of 40 N? So here second one they are talking about. So F2 is equal to 40 N is applied to unscrew the same nut. If he wants to unscrew the same nut, but here is applying a force of 40 N. So here here the force is 40 N in the sense what could be the length of the spanner? We have to find out that. So D1 is equal to question mark. So here if you see in the given data, so the unit of force is N. So 140 N. And D1, what is the unit for distance? It is meter only, no. But here they have given it in centimeter. You want to convert it into meter. So we are going to convert it into meter in the sense, my distance will become 0.4 meter. So you have to divide it by 100. Okay, so that you may get this 0.4 meter. Now we are going to use the formula, principle of moments formula. You all remember, F1 into D1 is equal to F2 into D2. So what is my F1? Which is 140. And what is D1? 0.4. F2 is what? 40. And D2, D2. So D2. Now we are going to find out this D2 only. Now D2, let it be in this side. 140 into 0.4 divided by, I told you, if the 40 is in numerator, when it comes to the other side, it will become denominator. So this 0 and this 0 will get cancelled. 2 7s are 14, 2 2s are 4. So 7 into 0.4 divided by 2. So just do the multiplication. 7 into 0.4. 7 4s are 28. Now here you are going to keep the decimal. Okay. So 2.8 divided by 2. 2.8 divided by 2. And now we are going to do the division over here. Before doing the division, what we have to do? Multiply and divide it by 10. Am I correct? So that we are not to take off the decimal only. I am doing this multiplication and division. Then we can easily do the calculation. That's why. So 28. Let me write it here. 28 divided by 20. 10. Let's take 2 table. 14. 10. Then 7. 5. Now 7 divided by 5. 5 ones are 5. Remaining 2. 0. 5 fours are 20. And my answer is 1.4. So what is D2? D2 is equal to 1.4. What is the unit I told you? Meter. So when to unscrew the same net with a force of 40 N, we need the length of 1.4 meter. Question: if a 5 N and 15 N forces are acting opposite to one another, find the resultant force and the direction of action of the resultant force. So I taught you this topic. I hope you all remember this resultant force. Now, if you look at the question, if a 5N and 15N forces. So here they are talking about two forces. So let's write the given data. Given data, F1 is equal to 5N and F2 is equal to 15N are acting opposite to one another. So here opposite in the cells, already I told you, we have to indicate or represent some kind of sign in it. So for opposite I am putting minus over here to one another. Find the resultant force. I mean the total force acts on that body. Find the resultant force and the direction of action of the resultant force. So first we have to find out the resultant force and then in which direction the whole resultant force is going to act. Now, so resultant force formula, R is equal to F1 plus F2. This is resultant force formula. Now, what is the value for F1? 5. Plus, in formula we have plus. And what is the value of F2, which is minus 15. So, I am putting minus 15. 5 plus into minus is what? Minus 15. So, what is my answer? 5 minus 15 is what? Minus 10. So, the resultant force R is equal to minus 10. And I told you it is resultant force. Force in the sense the unit is Newton. Okay. Now, actually, which has a huge force over here? 5 or 15? Obviously 15. So, F2 side only the total resultant force will be. So, F2. In F2 only the direction of force or the action of resultant force will be. Okay, children. So resultant force formula is what? R is equal to F1 plus F2. So F1 is 5 plus F2 is minus 15. So plus into minus, so 5 minus 15 is equal to, now when you subtract it, you must put 10 and greater number sign minus 10. So resultant force is equal to minus 10N. So we found the resultant force and the direction of action of the resultant force. In which direction mostly, the force is more, obviously the second one. So F2 side only the action of resultant force will be. Thank you, children.